Okay. All right, maybe I'll go ahead and get started. I know we are pressed for time. We have a lot of content to get through today. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us for the webinar today. Today, I am Matt Edwards, one of the senior managers at CDW. Today's webinar is focused on enabling and protecting your remote workers with Microsoft technology. I am pleased to be joined today by Parshati Ray, who is one of the Microsoft specialists at CDW. And as well, I am joined by Jared Barnett, who is one of the senior product managers at Microsoft. Throughout the course of this presentation, you are invited to share some of your Q&A. There is a kind of icon there at the bottom. You can actually post that next to your screen. We will be answering all questions and answers at the end of this webinar. So please feel free to share as many questions as you see fit. And then, Jared, if we just kind of go into the next slide. So, just a bit of background on who CDW is and kind of what our part to play is from a Microsoft standpoint. Microsoft's right at the forefront of, our expertise as a solutions provider. So just a little bit of information on kind of what background we bring to this. We do bring 35 years of experience. We do bring, technical engineer resources. As you see, 2,000 plus technical engineers. We've got locations across the country. So no matter where you're looking to do a Microsoft deployment, we can help you in your local market. And even beyond that, if you're an organization that is doing work locally but also needs international coverage, we actually do have offices around the world as well. And Jared, if we go to the next slide. And specific to Microsoft, I talked about our technical expertise, but from a licensing perspective as well. So, what we offer is dedicated Microsoft account executives. We do Microsoft customer, quarterly business reviews. We can assist on your CSP licensing portal, and we've got architecture support to determine the best solution for you. So if you're looking to make decisions on how you are licensing any of your remote workers, we can help you through this process. And we do have a lot of the partner certifications that you'd expect from an organization such as CDW. Then we'll go to the next slide. From a services perspective, if you want to do, start with any kind of pilots, we do Microsoft Teams pilots and deployments. We do Office 365 migrations. We can assist you with Exchange migrations, right on along the lines of remote workers. If you are looking at, Microsoft's Windows Virtual Desktop platform, we are able to assist you with pilots and deployments as well. And if you need to have any assistance beyond, just deploying and managing your licenses, you're actually looking for a partner that can help with help you manage those environments as well. We do have a full portfolio of Microsoft managed services available from CDW. Next slide. And as I said, offices are across the country. So, wherever you are in the country, we typically have an office and have some of our local expertise, but we do support the entire country from kind of all of the offices that are in Canada. And from there, I will turn it over to Parshati.
Thanks, Matthew. That was a great introduction. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Really appreciate you taking time and joining us today here. Again, my name is Parshati Ray. I'm the Partner Success Specialist here at CDW, and we'll be talking today about how to enable and protect your remote workers and how Microsoft technology can come in place to help you out with all this. So let's start on this. No doubt, like, why are we in this discussion today? Because modern workplace has been changing, right? So this has been over last few years that digital transformation has shaped a new culture of work. And obviously, no doubt, this pandemic has changed our perceptions of modern workplace. So just a few points, to highlight that how a modern workplace is changing. First of all, in terms of workspace, right? We are moving from cubicle to the collaborative workspace, now even like working from home. For achievement, we are moving like from individual achievement to the teamwork, even for data. Data is like all the time these days. For data from limited to boundless innovation, we are moving into. So that's how like the modern workplace is changing. But what I want to say is that whenever and however you and your team work, stay secure and get it all done with the Surface. Like on this slide, we said this is the world that Surface was built for, as it is designed for remote work. But why Surface? Before we get into that, I thought it would be probably a good idea to give you a quick overview for the Surface family members. Probably some of you already been using Surface, which is great. And one thing about this Surface device, guys, like I've been with this Surface device since 2012, and from my experience, one thing I want to say that I know it's beautiful looking device and all this, but very high quality premium device. But for Surface device is all about experience. That's my personal experience and opinion. This is what Surface is. So this is like a versatile and ultralight, obviously, is business device. And then the most importantly is the thing is that Surface adopts the way you will work. So even though on this slide you see like different model of Surface devices, which I will be introducing to you shortly, but one like something common that in all Surface devices that I want to really touch base before I move on, that they are all touch screen, all of them, and they all have pen capabilities. And since we are in the discussion of remote work, like let's talk about like meetings all day, every day, fun stuff, right? So for those things, I think two major, like for my own experience, for two major element that like, let's say if you don't have, we miss each other seeing, in the office environment, we are not there physically seeing each other. So when we have video calls, like the camera, we can, if we turn on the video, we can see each other in the camera. So Surface device, Microsoft they have done the extensive research, and Surface comes with the very high quality and custom processed camera to deliver that accurate face-to-face connection, so that you don't feel that much that we are missing each other physically seeing, and it's a better like connection to each other and collaboration platform that way. Another element to make or break the remote work experience that I think is the audio. So from hardware standpoint, starting with the high quality microphone, that will be the key. So the Surface devices have two high quality microphone that placed on both sides of the screen, which allows them to become an array that optimally speed to do the like the beamforming. And what I'm saying is that you can imagine how much extensive research efforts goes behind all this to prepare. So this kind of processing, you'll be surprised to know that this kind of processing takes place even actually in the world's quietest room, which Microsoft has created in one of the lab building in Redmond, and it is called anechoic chamber. So just to give you an idea, so you can imagine like the quality and the quality of this hardware components the Surface device comes with. So just starting to introduce this Surface family member, starting from the very left. So you can see this is called Surface Pro. So this is a detachable device, and it's a perfect balance of laptop performance and the tablet mobility. If you are looking for those two combination, then Surface Pro will be your go-to device. Next one there is called Surface Book, but actually it's really is a powerhouse. So ultimate performance packed into this versatile, Surface Book. It's a powerhouse. Again, this is detachable as well, and it comes with the 13-inch and 15-inch bigger screen as well for you. So next one, you see it looks big, obviously. It's a 28 inch fully adjustable, touch screen. So if you think you are in the need of what you call an immersive experience that inspires really creativity, then it is time for you to say hello to this beautiful Surface Studio. Next one that's there is called the Surface Laptop. So this is really, it's my personal favorite, and it's beautiful, thin, light. It's like a everyday laptop, not detachable, everyday laptop like conventional type, with a quiet and comfortable typing experience and with the all-day battery life. So that's the Surface Laptop for you if you are a fan of laptop kind of device. The next one that I want to say that affordability that matters really for everyone, especially in this kind of tough situation. So that's why Surface have thought about that for you, and therefore Surface family, they offer the ultimate portability at an affordable price, and that's called the Surface Go, the small one. And last one, the big one, obviously not the least, I don't want even as a team collaboration, modern workplace. I mean, these are the words probably we hear or use like all day, every day in our work life these days. So this is, I think it's really time to enable teamwork anywhere with the new Surface Hub 2S. This is the all-in-one digital whiteboard meeting platform with Teams and collaboration computing device. If I can have next slide, please. Yeah, so here you see some more Surface devices. So again, starting from the left, this is the Surface Pro X. So this is thinnest ever 2-in-1, and it's with the LTE connection. So yeah, if you don't have the Wi-Fi connection somewhere you're working on, don't worry about it. Surface got you covered. So this is with the LTE and new slim pen. It comes with it. It's charged and stored securely in the signature keyboard. So next one is laptop 3. I know I just mentioned the laptop in the previous slide, but this is the newest version of laptop. So this is the laptop 3, and laptop 3 now it comes with the tone-on-tone choice of your colors, and also 13-inch and 15-inch touchscreen, and also has improved speed performance with the latest 10th generation of Intel processor. And Surface Pro again, but this is the latest version, is the Pro 7. We are in 7th generation for Surface Pro. And this is the newest Pro with the, again, 10th generation processor, and it connects with the displays, docking station, and more with the USB-C. If you are a fan of USB-C ports, USB-C, and also USB-A port. So why Surface, right? Because I'm just telling you and you just do like, okay, I just don't take your word for, but why Surface? So why Surface? As we can see in this picture, the unique thing, right, about Surface is that everything from the firmware to the cloud management is built and managed by Microsoft, giving you the multi-layered protection. If you can, as you can see on the picture. So let's just try to touch base on each and every this point of the security that Surface has. So first, I want to talk about Windows Hello. So Windows Hello, that provides reliable, fully integrated. It's a biometric authentication, and it's based on facial recognition. And it uses a combination of special infrared camera and the software to increase the accuracy, and it guard against the spoofing. So Surface devices, all the Surface devices that has that built-in IR infrared camera. So next one that I want to talk about is a BIOS, or Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, which is a Surface UEFI. We call it Surface UEFI. And it is built and maintained in-house, and it's automatic and consistent, and UEFI is written by like Windows Group. So you can see like how all these things are like interconnected. Surface BIOS or UEFI, that's written by Windows group. So Windows, the people having Windows updates, Windows, all this stuff. So it's all interconnected in there. Therefore, it's maintained in-house. That's why I say. Also for like if your company deploying like devices in high secure areas with very sensitive information, using the DFCI in Surface, like the device firmware configure interface, the IT administrator can remotely disable the hardware elements as a firmware level, such as microphone, USB port, for example, or what it could be cameras. So that's as good as like when you remove the camera physically and when you turn it off from the firmware level is the same thing, same effect. So only because of DFCI, the Surface device, you are able to do so. Next one is the BitLocker. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys are familiar with this BitLocker. So the BitLocker is like a drive encryption. It's a data protection feature that integrated in the operating system and address the threats of data threat or exposure from the lost, stolen, or even inappropriately decommissioned computer. So BitLocker provides the most protection when it works with the TPM. TPM is the Trusted Platform Module technology that is designed to provide hardware-based security related functions. So TPM chip basically this is a secure crypto processor that enables a secure environment, and it focuses on providing a tamper-proof boot environment. So the BitLocker, so it provides the most protection when it used with the TPM chip, but TPM chip, which is a hardware component installed already in the Surface. So it works with the BitLocker to help protect users' data, right? You need to protect your confidential data and to ensure that the machine has not been tampered with the while even the system was offline, not only online, while even it was offline. So that's what the BitLocker does. Can I have the next slide, please? So then the next one that we wanted, I want to mention, Autopilot is the another recommended modern deployment option for Surface. So this is the cloud-based deployment technology in Windows 10. So it can be used remotely deploy and configure devices in zero-touch process right of the box. So for the for Autopilot, what you can this is a cloud-based deployment, right? So what Autopilot does, it enables you to automatically join devices to Azure Active Directory or Azure Directory. It also auto-enroll the devices into MDM services like mobile device management services such as Microsoft Intune. Create and auto-assign devices to configuration. It's like group based on a device profile. If you have different group, the group based on device profile, and also it customizes the out-of-box content. So such as images, drivers, what else, like could be settings as well. So it offers you the customizes UBI content. Autopilot, so the one of the biggest advantage that Autopilot can be done also the zero touch right out of the box. Can I have the next slide, please? So this is the this is where I'm going to talk about the altogether the Surface security. So when you are already enrolled in the Autopilot, you are once you have deployed your device via Autopilot, so what does it do is you are now in full lifecycle management. So Microsoft 365 and Surface together provide you with a complete set of, what should I call it, like manageability option through the life cycle. You can either keep your device in a steady stage use, or maybe remotely wipe the device via Intune. If it get lost, stolen, removed from service if you need to exchange your Surface device for a warranty purpose, you can remove from service from a warranty exchange. Also remotely reset the device so that it can be repurposed, or if you need to give it to a new member, then you can do all those. So basically that's all the advantage that Autopilot gives you. So there's a full a full life cycle from the device. You're getting the brand new device and you're setting it up, and then it's all set up, and pull all your profile from the Azure Active Directory, and then all the way at the end, if you need to wipe or remotely wipe or repurposely re-image the device for a new member, it's all been done through Autopilot. And next slide, please. So here in CDW, we offered the zero-touch services for Autopilot on Surface devices. So if you are getting the Surface and the Autopilot together from us, then what we do is normally we don't open the boxes. So when you order it, you get your devices, brand new devices from the DST to your shipping address. But then at the back end, it's all get enabled from Azure Active Directory with this device's serial number, that when you are receiving the new device and getting it unboxed and turning it on, it's all, as long as you are connected to the network, then it's all pulls your profile and set up. So within, it depends on the speed of your network, but within 15-20 minutes should be up and running for the business. So if you have more question about that, please get in touch with your account manager so the CDW team can help you out on that with more. So with all these ones, so this is what the true power of the Surface device is. It comes really from how all the elements work together seamlessly. And they're designed to complement and support the flexibility and functionality of modern workplace, even when we are working from home. So it is all interconnected, like I mentioned before, especially when they are paired with modern workplace software. Surface device family sets you up really for success. Every layer of the design of the Surface, from hardware to software, was built to empower you to do the amazing work for your organization. And with that being said, I will pass on to Jared to continue this journey with you for the rest of the webinar. And thank you all very much again. Over to you, Jared.
Thanks, Parshadi, and especially thanks to everyone that's joining us out there for the first 20 minutes. Some awesome stuff on Surface devices, the family of Surface devices that CDW has to offer. I'm going to now take you through this software journey that helps take the security to the next level for our remote workers. And if you have any questions, let's keep the Q&A live. So over the next 15 or 20 minutes, we talked about Surface. So we're going to move into secure remote work, specifically with Microsoft 365 Business Premium. We'll touch a little bit on Windows Remote Desktop, again, something that CDW has the expertise to really help you with. And finally, some objection handling here. So what's top of mind for our customers? There's a few things that we found as we've gone through some recent research. How can we work remote better? How can we maintain security? And at the same time, how can we reduce or rationalize our costs? When you look underneath that, there's a few things that are driving those particular concerns. One is we have employees working in these hybrid environments, a variety of different locations, whether it's at home, whether it's in a hybrid work environment in an office, or whether it's at the cottage. They're everywhere, and they're everywhere with 4.1 devices. Hopefully a couple of them are the Surface devices that Parshadi showed us. And by the way, these devices are both personal as well as, a company issued, if you will. I use a device that I own, but it is of course enrolled in Microsoft. And if the day comes that I leave Microsoft, all of the information, of course, will disappear from that. And then how can we reduce our costs? It's really inoculating ourselves in terms of making sure that we're future-proofed, because we know as time has gone by in the last 6 months, there were a number I think I'm back, Matthew, so I'll continue. So amidst the backdrop of this COVID-19 related cyber attacks, we are seeing, again, 5-fold increase. And those aren't necessarily just directed at the large enterprises. 50% of all cyber attacks that we've seen over the last 7 months are actually targeting our small and mid-sized businesses. So the idea that these nefarious actors are targeting large enterprises and banks is not necessarily the case. It's those smaller businesses that are just as ripe with information, personal information, data, etc., that are now really enticing targets. And I tell you, these cybersecurity incidents can have severe consequences on small and mid-sized businesses. We talked about the 50% of small businesses realizing an attack. 61% of those small businesses experienced a cyber attack were not able to operate. 61%. Again, when we think about the large enterprises, they can bankroll a recovery, but for small and mid-sized businesses, in a lot of cases, these are crippling. And from a monetary perspective, we value approximately $150,000 per breach. And that includes things like, credit monitoring for your customers if their PII was breached, recovery of any ransomware potentially. So the $150,000 is all about information being lost, but also the remediation costs to recover from a cyber attack. So we have a solution that CDW can operationalize for you and take to the next level on a beautiful Surface device, and that's Microsoft 365 Business Premium. This is really our hero small mid-sized business SKU. It has enterprise capabilities from a security and management perspective that's really scalable now to our small and mid-sized business customers. It allows you to collaborate in real time. It enables remote access and protection of identity. I'll get into what that looks like in just a moment. It helps protect against cyber threats and data loss, and it helps you manage and secure all of your devices, whether they're Mac OS, iOS, Android, or Windows. And the idea again here is that this particular software solution layered onto hardware gives you that additional security layer. Parchetti talked about the security built into the vessel, into the hardware. This is then the software, the cloud-enabled software that sits on top of that allows you to be productive and secure and remote. When we talk about collaborating in real time, this is really the crux of what Microsoft Teams allows us to do, a really important part of Microsoft 365 Business Premium. Microsoft Teams is not just a video conferencing software add-on, if you will. It's a full collaboration suite. It's a hub for teamwork, we call it, where Matthew and I can work on the same document in real time. So we're not emailing back and forth versions. Matthew's on version 1, I'm on 2. Cheryl's got to put it together. Oh my goodness, what version are we on? Microsoft Teams with SharePoint and OneDrive and other things in the background allow you to have that real-time teamwork, no matter where you are, on any device. Again, absolutely critical in these days of secure remote work. Online meetings from anywhere. Teams allows you to have online meetings, document sharing, whiteboarding, anywhere, anytime, on any device. Those online meetings can be accompanied by audio conferencing, so folks don't have to have Teams. They can dial in like a traditional conference call, all the way up to business voice that allows you to have full telephony through Microsoft Teams. And external collaboration is absolutely critical. When Matthew and I were working on this deck and Cheryl and I were working on this deck, we're external to each other, but we were able to collaborate in real time using the security proposition that's built in under the hood when it comes to Microsoft 365. We know our customers, it's absolutely critical. When we talk about collaboration, we often talk about that internal collaboration. But especially in the world of remote work where we're not necessarily able to get in front of our suppliers or our vendors, that external collaboration needs to be seamless, effective, but most importantly also secure. So real-time teamwork with Microsoft Teams. This is what the beautiful purple, the Barney purple user interface looks like. I'm not going to go through a deep dive on what Teams is, but again, it's that hub for teamwork that allows you to access your files, your chats, your third-party applications. It allows you to co-author documents like I was mentioning before, Matthew and I working on the PowerPoint that we're actually presenting to you right now. And it's available again across all devices. When Matthew and I are talking, or Cheryl and I are talking, and I'm on my device, whether it's in the park taking a break on my iPhone or on my Android device, it's absolutely persistent. And what I get on my desktop or on my Surface, I get on my iOS in instant time. So that persistent availability can be the crux of us, but boy, it's a powerful thing when you really want to collaborate across devices, geographies, in real time. So that's what Microsoft Teams allows us to do. And those online meetings, again, it allows us to meet anywhere, anytime, and it enables us to transcribe meetings now. We just recently launched, a lot of us always assign a secretary who's going to take the notes. Well, in addition to the closed captioning capabilities, which is incredibly inclusive and it provides some incredible accessibility features, we now have literal transcription, so it takes notes. So when Cheryl and I debate on what note was taken, we can go back, look at the transcript, and quite often Cheryl will win, but the evidence is right there. Parshadi talked about the audio hardware components on Surface. Teams is optimized for beautiful hardware, whether it's a camera built into the system, a third-party camera like I'm using, and it's intelligent. And what I mean by that is Teams is infused with artificial intelligence. It's those things that are driving the transcription, those things that are driving the blurred background. So when we think about intelligence built into these platforms, that's really what we're talking about, that artificial intelligence, not rise of the machine stuff, but stuff built into the platform to make our jobs easier, more accessible, more inclusive. External collaboration, I don't want to go through this in too much detail. Again, you can see our worker working at home on 3 beautiful screens and likely having a great conversation outside the organization. And again, that's absolutely critical, specifically for our small and mid-sized businesses that don't necessarily have the flexibility or opportunity to get in front of face-to-face meetings with their suppliers or vendors. So I can't harp enough on how important that external collaboration really is. Now, security, I can't say it enough. We talked about security again in the hardware. We talked about the UFI. We talked about the TPM chip and BitLocker encryption. Now I want to talk about identity and access as the first plane of security when it comes to software and securing your remote work with software. It starts with identity. Who are you? What are you able to access? Are you allowed to access these things? What does your password look like? Are you passwordless? How do we secure your access to certain apps? And how do we enable you to have a great experience outside of the office, whether it's using CDW and their Windows Virtual Desktop practice, or it's just using your beautiful camera on your Surface laptop? We want to make sure that you as an individual working at an organization can have a beautiful experience, but also that the organization is protected. So beyond the hardware, it starts with identity and access. Who are you and what can you access? Now, when we talk about the second dimension, we talk about defending against cyber threats and safeguarding business data, right? Parshadi talked a little bit about BitLocker encryption, and that helps the on-hardware encryption of safeguarding the business data. Going beyond that, Microsoft 365 Business Premium has built-in encryption, leveraging Azure information protection. Again, you don't need to know the SKUs necessarily or what's under the hood, but the point is with Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you have labeling, sensitivity labeling. You have the opportunity to encrypt email in transit. You're using information protection to protect documents. So if I was sharing a protected document with Matthew and he tried projecting to this group, it will project a black screen because it's been identified as a highly sensitive document. All of those things are built into Microsoft 365 Business Premium to help safeguard your business data. And cloud app use, this is a big one. Get visibility into cloud app use. When we used to talk to in person and now virtually, when we ask our customers or our partners, how many of you really believe you know what's running in your environment, that your employees are using these sanctioned applications. And of course, everybody says, yes, they are. And then when we ask the employees and they're putting information up on Dropbox and Google Drive and consumer grade clouds and on their SSD, we realize that that information really isn't necessarily secure. So with Microsoft 365 Business Premium, it forces our organizations to be really smart and enforce those applications to be used, and again, force out what we call that shadow IT, so those unsanctioned applications don't permeate through your organization, because once they start permeating through your organization, the information attached to those applications obviously begin getting out into the wild. Now, how about securing and managing the devices, sort of as our third pivot? We talked about the hardware, we talked about the identity, who are you and what are you accessing? Then we talked about information protecting, right? Protection, how are we protecting the information, that confidential information, those documents? Now we're talking about managing the devices. How do we make sure that when Jared leaves Microsoft, that somebody in IT can confidently wipe all of the company information from my phone, but still leave the pictures of my kids on my phone? All of that, of course, is available through Microsoft Endpoint Protection. We used to call it Intune. It's a new name. It's a new brand name, bringing all of our endpoint management capabilities together. And how do we leverage that? And again, that's part of Microsoft 365 Business Premium. It enables our small businesses to enroll their devices so we can force policies down to those devices. Again, whether it's iOS or Android or Windows, we need to, or anything, Linux, we can absolutely manage those devices. So we can manage the work data on mobile devices. What can we post? What can we share? What can we access on our devices? We can secure the Windows devices. I'm going to make sure that when Michelle logs in that she has a 15-digit PIN. Just kidding, wouldn't do that. But that's the granularity. Those are the things that you can do when you're managing your devices using Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And it's also these capabilities that enable Autopilot, that no-touch deployment that Parshadi was talking about. The device ships to the customer, they open it up, they log in to Azure Active Directory, their credentials hit the network, and all of the policies and applications and everything else that that organization wants to push down to my device happens like magic in about 15 to 20 minutes. So we don't have to go imaging computers and PCs. That's old school. This is modern authentication using Azure Active Directory and Autopilot on a modern device like Surface. Employee gets the PC, gets the laptop, opens it up, signs in. Within 15 or 20 minutes, they have access to all of the corporate applications, all of the security policies are there, and they're productive and working remotely. It's a beautiful thing. Now, when we talk to our customers, there's the capabilities stuff. There's the management. There's the faith in our security platform. We're leaders in 5 magic quadrants when it comes to Gartner research. But then there's the cost savings or the optimization that we can offer our customers and partners. When we talk about the capabilities with Microsoft 365 Business Premium, and we break that apart, quite often our customers are using a number of disparate third-party pieces of software that they're putting together, which can add up to over $44 a month. And in addition to the cost, our customers are managing multiple admin consoles and multiple platforms, and there could be potentially some commingling issues with some of these applications, and it may slow down your PC, etc. When you go with a platform play, not only are you saving money with CDW and allowing CDW to again then unleash their managed services to ensure that your businesses are running smoothly, the management across one pane of glass becomes simpler as well. And our stuff is commingling together really well because it's built up from the bottom as a platform. Great third-party solutions. Our solutions will work really well with customers that want to continue using some of these third-party solutions. But as you feel comfortable with the platform and as you feel comfortable with the management capabilities and security capabilities that come with Microsoft 365 Business Premium, we believe that there's an opportunity for our customers to reinvest some of that additional money that may have been going into accomplishing what Microsoft 365 Business Premium with CDW can accomplish. So Microsoft 365 Business Premium benefits. It's comprehensive and easy to use. It includes all of those desktop applications that we know and love, professional email with Exchange Online, SharePoint, OneDrive, all enabled in Microsoft 365, all enabled in our enterprise clouds for Canadian customers, Canadian data center, local data residency, and it really enables our customers to get up and running quickly. We talked a little bit about reducing costs, rationalizing your environment, reducing help desk costs because now you're managing one platform, and the ease of licensing, especially with CDW and their CSP offering. As businesses scale up and down, we can add licenses, deploy them, delight your employees, and get them productive and up and running. And this is all enterprise grade security. Gone are the days when we didn't have, or software vendors didn't have, enterprise grade solutions for small and mid-sized businesses. Frankly, those days are gone. The days where our small and mid-sized businesses struggled to have the same level of security and management as the banks are gone. Microsoft 365 Business Premium, CDW, and Surface devices allow you to have the same capabilities that we're using right now at Microsoft and at the banks, with a small business sort of scale wrapped around it in terms of ease of deployment and manageability. But again, this is enterprise grade stuff running on Microsoft's productivity cloud in Canadian data centers. Microsoft Windows Virtual Desktop is also a great way for those that have dispersed or a dispersed workforce, if you will, that remote workforce that happens to be dispersed locally or around the world. With Microsoft Virtual Desktop and CDW, it really delivers the only multi-session Windows 10 experience that's highly scalable and up to date. Of course, it's always up to date with the latest version of Windows 10, twice a year feature updates. When it's spun up on our Azure VMs, you're getting, again, enterprise grade security and immediate feature updates. It's it's enabled and optimized for Office. So again, there's no clunkiness associated. It feels like a native experience. And again, it deploys and scales in minutes across any platform. So if you're in a world where virtualization is an option, or virtualization is something you want to continue exploring, or perhaps you haven't explored before, CDW is perfect in terms of walking you through what that journey may look like, in addition to what that one-on-one per device, per user, and end user experience may look like. When is virtualization useful? Well, when we have some of our customers in what we call regulated industries like financial services or healthcare, some municipal governments, for example, not necessarily the federal government, but a lot of our municipal governments, this works because, again, the security and management is built right in. When it comes to elasticity and mergers and acquisitions, enables mergers and acquisitions to happen far more seamlessly than when you're looking in the back end and doing licensing rationalization. And when you have a transient workforce of contractors and partners that may be coming and going. When you have a combination of bring your own devices, mobile, desktop, laptop, Surface Hub, branch workers, Windows virtualization, Windows Virtual Desktop enables you to really bring that again together in what feels like a native experience. And specialized workloads, whether it's legacy applications, designing and engineering, dev test environments, Windows virtualization, Azure virtualization, Windows desktop virtualization, really offers, again, this moment in time, a great opportunity through CDW to unleash that secure remote work. It's always secure remote work. So there's some objection handling here for a couple minutes. I'll go through it, but then I'll go back to the Q&A, open it up, and see if there's anybody that has any questions through the Q&A. A lot of our customers are on Office 365 E3. Well, that's sort of old school. That's in the old days when Microsoft 365 Business Premium wasn't available. It's about the same price, but with Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you're getting the management and security capabilities that you don't get with E3. With E3, you're getting the productivity suite. It's great. It's got E3 security capabilities, but for the same price, if you're under 300 seats, and many of our small businesses are, Microsoft 365 Business Premium makes far more sense because, again, it has that Intune management capability, and it has the additional security and identity capability that you don't get. And this is just a muscle change because Business Premium is a fairly new solution. E3 really comes up as the ideal SMB solution, but again, that's thinking of the days of yore where Microsoft 365 Business Premium probably makes a lot more sense. Because when you look at, again, the features that are available in Office 365 E3, but additional availability of features in Business Premium like conditional access, advanced threat protection, we talked about information protection and Intune, and Azure Active Directory P1, it becomes a far more compelling solution for our small businesses. What about on-premises resources? I'm not ready to move to the cloud. Well, that's cool too. Microsoft 365 Business Premium works really well with on-premises resources, on-premises Active Directory. But again, it's the power of the cloud that really enables our customers to take full advantage of productivity and security and remote work. But absolutely, if you're still on premises for reasons that make sense to your business, don't shy away from this. There's still an absolutely compelling reason to move to this. And as you feel comfortable with the cloud, hopefully, again, you decommission servers, you decommission Exchange Online or Exchange servers, and feel comfortable as you migrate 100% to the cloud. And my current security technology, I'm quite pleased with. Will it be compatible with Microsoft 365 Business Premium? Absolutely. We play really nice with third-party pieces of software, specifically when it comes to third-party security. So absolutely, there's no concern there. What we hope, though, is our customers embrace Microsoft security, and when they're comfortable, that again, there's an opportunity to rationalize their security posture by adopting the Microsoft platform for ease of management. And again, having that confidence that we do have a great security capability. We do invest $1 billion a year in R&D and security, and we happen to be the largest cybersecurity company in the world, but we're not often referenced that way. VDI deployment is growing, so what are the thin client sales for Linux versus? That's a great question, Mo, and let's take that offline with CDW specifically. You know, thin client is an interesting one. There's an IoT Windows 10 embedded operating system on what we used to call long-term branch. I'm not that up to speed on it, Mo, but we can certainly have that discussion when it comes to thin client Lenovo devices in CDW. Will my business be secure? Will I be compliant with regulations? Yes, we talked about enterprise-grade security. We talked about data residency. When it comes to access control and encryption, our customers own the keys. Data is backed up in redundant data centers geographically. And again, long-term archiving and data preservation comes with activating Microsoft 365 and leveraging our security capabilities. So yes, our customers' data will be secure, backed by Microsoft's 99.999% SLA uptime, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, we lead in 5 magic quadrants when it comes to security capabilities, identity, endpoint, and a few others. So yes, your data will be secure and your systems will also be secure. Privacy is the same thing. You as a customer will maintain control. We do not have access to your data. And again, we talk about encryption, whether it's on the device through a BitLocker that Parshadi talked about, or whether it's stored on OneDrive in the cloud. Our customers own that end-to-end encryption key, and we do not data mine or advertise on our Microsoft commercial platforms. And will I be able to comply with industry and government regulations? Absolutely. There's a URL we'll make available through CDW and through this deck. It's the Trust Center. Actually, you see it at the bottom left corner of the slide. You can go on the Microsoft Trust Center there, and you'll see all of the compliant, regulated, so what do you call them, the standards, if you will, the compliance to international standards, things like HIPAA and ISO 27001, et cetera. You'll be able to see the exhaustive list, and those are always updated as we continue to get compliance and standards approvals with those international and local regulations. And of course, GDPR protection, that's the European Union's General Data the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, which launched last year in the European Union. GDPR controls and capabilities are already built in to Microsoft 365, so you have that compliance already built in. What are the benefits of moving to a subscription model? Well, the benefit first is CDW offers you incredible services that can help you manage and deploy your environment. And more importantly, it gets you out of that annual contract. It enables you to scale up and down. It enables you to plan and execute against planned or unplanned business growth. You know, you need to add users, you need to add virtual machines, you need to add external collaboration folks, that can easily be done, scaled up and scaled down. So that's why a monthly subscription is really beneficial. And that's why most SaaS offerings these days are frankly subscriptions, per user subscriptions that I can take across 5 devices, and I can use anywhere across any 5 devices. And as my business grows up or potentially contracts, I can add or delete users. And frankly, it's easier to integrate with other services and products if you're on the Microsoft stack to begin with. And finally, is all this security too difficult? It sounds daunting. Absolutely. And what we're scared of, we avoid. Trust me, I live it. It's not that difficult. All of the security is great, and it's not that difficult to monitor. As you move towards a Microsoft 365 platform, as you move towards CDW managed services, these things that we talk about may sound scary: Azure Active Directory and identity maintenance, Azure information protection, sensitivity labeling. This stuff is not that complicated. Once we get into it with our customers, once you get that CDW support, managing these things is becoming far easier. Again, especially as you rationalize your environment and you move towards a platform play. And by the way, CDW can help our customers with running Secure Score right on existing tenants at no to little cost. And it gives you an automatic and immediate snapshot of things that you can do, like turn on multi-factor authentication, things that you can do in your environment to help increase your Secure Score, and benchmark it against like companies in your industry so you can go on that Secure Score journey. Again, it doesn't involve a ton of investment. All of our customers have it within their Office and Microsoft 365 tenants, a very powerful tool that Matt and Robert can take you through, and their team can take you through to really understand those environments, those current environments, and how to make immediate improvements. That's it. That's all. That's the presentation that I had, team, today. If there's any questions or comments, we can certainly take them on the Q&A. We have about 6 minutes left, so I invite any of my other panel colleagues to step in if they have any additional comments to wrap up. And I invite you as well to ask any questions through the Q&A.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Jared, and thanks for Shadi. Lots of great information provided. I know there's been a few questions that have been going on through the live Q&A, and Cheryl's been doing great in terms of getting those answered. There are a few other ones that I have here as well that have come in. First one is, how does IAP protect the remote worker?
Oh, great question, Matthew. So that's, I think they're talking about Azure Information Protection. There may be an acronym, I'm guessing, Matthew. So I'm going to answer the question as if it were Azure Information Protection. I'll give you one example. If Matthew and I are working on a document and Azure Information Protection, it's a sensitivity label, is labeled confidential. So I go into my document, my PowerPoint, I use Azure Information Protection in the background, and I label it confidential. That document is automatically encrypted. So when Matthew and I, if I email that document to Matthew, or I share it through our cloud services through OneDrive, Matthew can look at that document, but he may not be able to project it if he's doing a presentation to an external group. Information protection will just protect a black screen because it identifies that information. You have labeled it sensitive, you have labeled it confidential, you've labeled it so it's encrypted, so information protection will not allow it to be shared or projected. Now, I can't stop you from taking a picture of the screen, etc. Sure, but information protection allows that level of granularity. Just one example. Another example is if Prashadi and I didn't get along and we were going our separate ways. Information protection allows me to wipe any sensitive information from my remote workers' devices, but leaving their pictures and personal information. So Matthew, that's really 2 real life examples of what information protection can do for the remote worker.
Okay, perfect, thanks. What does Microsoft have in place that will ensure we will be able to access information and meet all requirements of MFI PPA?
So Matthew, that's where we go to the Trust Center, right? There's a ton of associations and a ton of compliance requirements, whether it's ISO or HIPAA and healthcare. If you go to the Trust Center, you can Google Microsoft Trust Center, or in the deck, Matthew, that you're going to give out after, it'll have the full URL. You can go there and interact with the site, and it will give you all of the regulatory compliance certifications that we currently have.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think those are the majority of the ones that have come in here. Certainly, anyone who didn't get a chance to ask a question, you can certainly reach out to myself or to any of your account managers that would handle, work with you on a day-to-day basis. We can certainly bring in any of the resources to kind of continue the conversation on a more specific level with anyone that's looking to have that. So.
Yeah, Matthew, that's great. And you know what? You know what the easiest thing that our customers can do right now, Matthew? Yep. Turn on multi-factor authentication. Okay, 99% of all cyber attacks would be stopped at the front door if our customers embraced multi-factor authentication, and that's built into all of this stuff. In fact, many of our customers are buying it, may not even have turned it on. But that's the one thing when you're talking about secure remote work in the world of small and mid-sized business, Matt, multi-factor authentication, that will absolutely also boost your secure score. So when the CDW reps come and help their customers, you can see multi-factor authentication will make you a hero immediately.
Perfect. I think that's a great tip for everyone. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. As I said, any follow-up questions, certainly engage any of your account managers, and we can certainly do a more specific engagement with your organization. We'd be happy to do it. For now, that concludes this webinar. And once again, thank you everyone for joining today.